In March 2025, the FDA announced that products sitting in millions of bathroom cabinets were degrading into benzene, a carcinogen linked to leukemia. Some anti-aging creams contain mercury 24,000 times the legal limit. Major brands just settled lawsuits for fabricated science. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 15 products are scams or dangerous, and the 5 evidence-based alternatives dermatologists actually use that cost a fraction of the price. La Mer's laboratory lie nearly $3,000 for a jar of face cream. That's what La Mer wants you to believe is the price of miracle skin, but independent laboratory testing tells a very different story. Crème de la Mer retails for $380 to $2,950, depending on size. You're paying up to $1,000 for a 250 milliliter jar. The brand centers its entire value on the miracle broth, a fermented sea kelp. Elixir allegedly perfected over 6,000 experiments by a physicist. But in 2024 and 2025, independent laboratories conducted side-by-side analysis. The results were startling. La Mer shares 18 identical foundational ingredients with Nivea creme, which costs $11. Mineral oil, petrolatum, microcrystalline wax. The same base formula. Using clinical hydration measurement, La Mer provided 11% hydration increase. Nivea provided 12%. For women over 60, paying for La Mer means subsidizing a $35 manufacturing cost and massive marketing budgets, rather than superior biological intervention. And what comes next proves the problem goes far deeper than overpriced moisturizer. The lash serum that cost them millions. When a lash serum requires a $38 million class action settlement, you know something went terribly wrong. For women in their 60s, what Rodan plus Fields didn't disclose could have cost them their vision. Lash Boost retailed for $155 and promised the appearance of lush, longer-looking lashes. The before and after photos seemed miraculous. But behind those results was a hidden danger. The key ingredient is isopropyl cloprostenate, a synthetic prostaglandin analog originally used in glaucoma treatments. This is a pharmaceutical compound, not a cosmetic one. For women over 60, the risks are particularly severe. Iris color change that becomes permanent, eyelid drooping, macular edema, and vision impairment that doesn't reverse when you stop using the product. Prescription alternatives like Latisse fully disclose these risks up front. But Lash Boost was marketed as a federally unregulated cosmetic, allegedly not associated with any significant side effects. That claim cost the company $38 million in settlements. Deceptive marketing hid pharmaceutical-level dangers behind the language of beauty. What comes next reveals how subscriptions become traps. The Cindy Crawford subscription trap. Cindy Crawford's face sold you on a $49 introductory kit. But what came next was agents claiming their system was down and monthly bills that wouldn't stop. Meaningful Beauty, fronted by one of the world's most iconic supermodels, became the subject of extensive consumer backlash in 2024 and 2025. Better Business Bureau records reveal hundreds of complaints from women who purchased that introductory kit, only to find themselves trapped in unauthorized quarterly subscriptions. The pattern is systemic. You receive the initial shipment. Then, without clear consent, your credit card is charged $90 to $108 per month. When you attempt to cancel, the barriers appear immediately. Customer service agents claim their system is down, preventing account closure. Meanwhile, billing continues uninterrupted. This is what experts call dark pattern billing. Deliberately designed obstacles that make cancellation nearly impossible while charges accumulate. The celebrity endorsement provides credibility. The introductory price creates trust. And the predatory business model extracts ongoing payments from women who never agree to a subscription. Behind the glamorous marketing is a mechanism engineered to trap you. And when companies prioritize extraction over integrity, your financial security becomes collateral damage. What follows next proves even heritage brands betray that trust. The DNA repair deception. $92 for a cream that promises to repair your DNA. It sounds like science fiction because, according to the class action lawsuit, that's exactly what it is, fiction. Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair has been a prestige staple for decades. The iconic brown bottle sits on luxury counters worldwide. But when the brand began emphasizing its innovative DNA technology and making claims about repairing DNA damage, they crossed a legal line. A class action lawsuit challenged these claims as fraudulent. The central argument was straightforward. If a product truly repairs DNA damage at the cellular level, it must undergo rigorous FDA pharmaceutical testing and approval, not be sold as a luxury cosmetic. The brand emphasized science-sounding terminology, chronolux technology, cellular repair, DNA restoration. But scientific consensus reveals that topical enzymes lack the evidence required to substantiate claims of reversing genetic damage in a retail setting. When marketing language mimics medical intervention without medical proof, you're paying $92 for aspiration, not transformation. And when even the most established heritage brands blur the line between cosmetic hope and pharmaceutical fact, trust becomes the industry's scarcest ingredient. What comes next proves regulatory agencies are finally paying attention. If you're realizing right now that you've been scammed by products you trusted for years, you're not alone. Every week on this channel, I expose the industry secrets companies hope you never discover. Subscribe so you don't miss the next investigation, because what I'm about to reveal about toxic contamination makes these lawsuits look mild. When the FTC says your genes are lying, boost your genes' activity, it was marketed as a new era of skincare until the Federal Trade Commission sued and proved the science was fabricated. Lancôme Génifique and L'Oréal Youth Code represented a brilliant marketing evolution. Instead of promising surface-level hydration, they claim to work at the genetic level, boosting your genes' activity to create younger skin from within. Génifique retailed for $132. The pitch was compelling. This wasn't just skincare, this was gene science. The FTC disagreed. They sued L'Oréal, alleging the claims were false and unsubstantiated. When regulators examined the clinical studies closely, they discovered the deception. The research didn't actually test the finished product or its ingredients. Instead, the studies simply evaluated general gene expression differences between younger and older age groups. It was observational science presented as proof of product efficacy. The settlement was unambiguous. L'Oréal was prohibited from making gene-related claims without reliable scientific evidence. A phrase from the case captured the strategy perfectly. Test tubes are overtaking powder puffs in deceptive marketing. When prestigious French heritage brands fabricate clinical proof to justify premium pricing, the entire industry's credibility collapses. I know this is infuriating. 5 products, 5 betrayals, ranging from $3,000 petroleum to lawsuits proving fabricated science. But here's what you need to know. Dermatologists actually use a $26 serum that outperforms the $185 gold standard. I'll show you exactly what it is and for other evidence-based alternatives in just a few minutes. But first, you need to understand why the next products aren't just overpriced scams. They're genuinely dangerous to your health. The carcinogen in your medicine cabinet. In March 2025, the FDA made an announcement that should terrify anyone using Proactive. The active ingredient was degrading into benzene, a known human carcinogen linked to leukemia. This wasn't a minor quality control issue. This was a fundamental chemical stability problem affecting millions of products sitting in bathroom cabinets across America. The FDA announced voluntary recalls of popular acne and anti-aging treatments containing benzoyl peroxide, abbreviated BPO. Proactive was specifically named. Independent laboratory Valisure conducted the research that exposed the crisis. They discovered that BPO is chemically unstable and degrades into benzene over time and with heat exposure. The testing revealed shocking numbers. A single Proactive product stored in a hot car reached benzene levels 1,270 times higher than the EPA threshold for increased cancer risk. The FDA's conditional limit for benzene is 2 parts per million. Some BPO creams tested reached concentrations of 1,761 parts per million. Storage conditions you encounter every day, a warm bathroom, a car, direct sunlight, accelerate the degradation process. What you believed was treating your skin was potentially increasing your cancer risk with every application. And when everyday storage transforms a cosmetic into a carcinogen, even pharmacy-grade prestige cannot protect you. What comes next proves that point devastatingly. When pharmacy-grade fails, even La Roche-Posay, the brand dermatologists recommend with confidence, couldn't escape the benzene scandal. If pharmacy-grade prestige can fail basic safety protocols, what does that say about the rest of the industry? La Roche-Posay Effaclar Duo was included in the March 2025 benzene recalls. This is a dual-action treatment dermatologists have recommended for years, a product sitting on shelves at your local pharmacy with the implicit endorsement of medical professionals who trust the brand's French pharmaceutical heritage. Specific lots were identified with elevated carcinogen levels. Lot MyX46W was among those flagged for containing benzene concentrations that exceeded safe thresholds. This wasn't a rogue manufacturer cutting corners. This was a dermatologist-famed brand associated with pharmaceutical-grade standards. If a prestige brand with pharmaceutical credibility fails basic chemical stability protocols, it reveals a systemic quality control problem across the entire industry. Every assumption about prestige equaling safety collapses under the weight of this recall. Trust becomes the industry's most toxic ingredient when even the brand's doctors recommend betray it. The fake good housekeeping empire. They created fake good housekeeping websites. They fabricated celebrity endorsements from Jason Statham and Jennifer Aniston, and they stole $179 million from consumers who believed the promise, look 10 years younger in less than 4 weeks. Tar Incorporated operated a network of 19 interconnected companies selling anti-aging creams under multiple brand names designed to appear as independent products. The FTC took massive enforcement action, but only after the damage was catastrophic. The deception was sophisticated. They built fake media domains like goodhousekeepingtoday.com, designed to mimic trusted publications you've relied on for decades. But every review, every testimonial, every before and after photo was fabricated. They used bogus celebrity endorsements, placing Jason Statham and Jennifer Aniston's faces alongside anti-wrinkle creams these celebrities never touched or approved. The formulations themselves were unremarkable moisturizers with no active ingredients capable of delivering the dramatic transformation promised. When a fraud requires 19 separate companies and fake trusted media domains to sustain the illusion, every product in the network becomes suspect. The free trial that never ends. Revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough. Risk-free trial for just $4.95 shipping. That was the advertisement. The reality was $5 million in consumer refunds after thousands of older adults were charged $87 monthly for creams they never wanted. Media Group sold dozens of nearly identical anti-aging creams under different names, all marketed through the same deceptive free trial model. The formulations were basic moisturizers with trace peptides. Nothing that justified $87 monthly. What wasn't disclosed clearly was the negative option program buried in 8-point font. Accepting the trial meant automatic monthly shipments. When victims tried canceling, they faced endless hold times and disconnected calls while charges continued. By late 2024, regulatory action forced refunds, but thousands had already lost hundreds of dollars. When free means automatic billing, the product becomes secondary to the predatory mechanism. And what comes next transcends financial fraud. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the scale of deception, here's the good news. You only need 3 core products for transformative anti-aging results, and together they cost less than 1 jar of La Mer. I'll reveal exactly which ones in just a moment. But first you need to understand the most dangerous contamination crisis the beauty industry has ever faced. The Mercury contamination crisis. The legal limit for mercury in cosmetics is 1 part per million. Face Fresh Beauty Cream, tested at 18,500. Gory Beauty Cream, with lycopene tested at 24,000. High-RD Glutathione, cream tested at 15,900. Sandal Whitening Beauty Cream, tested at 13,100. And all of them are still being sold. This isn't a single rogue manufacturer. This is a systemic contamination crisis affecting skin lightening and anti-aging creams, identified across 2024 and 2025 regulatory testing. Mercury is not an ingredient that causes mild irritation or temporary redness. It is a neurotoxin with consequences that extend far beyond your skin. Kidney damage occurs as mercury accumulates in your system. Neurological symptoms emerge: tremors, memory loss, psychosis. These products target women seeking to remove age spots or wrinkles, promising brightening and anti-aging benefits. The marketing often emphasizes natural ingredients or traditional formulations, language designed to suggest safety and heritage. Face Fresh, Gory, High-RD, and Sandal all circulate with claims of natural beauty secrets or dermatologist recommendations. None mention mercury. None disclose neurotoxic contamination. The ratios are incomprehensible. 24,000 parts per million means gory beauty cream is essentially a toxic compound with cosmetic additives, not the reverse. Every application delivers catastrophic exposure levels. These 4 products share more than mercury contamination. They share distribution methods that bypass every safety check the regulatory system depends on. They circulate through social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, where individual distributors operate with no liability insurance, no manufacturing knowledge, no accountability. Sandal Whitening Beauty Cream exemplifies the enforcement failure. This Pakistani-manufactured product appears on international detention lists, meaning regulatory agencies across multiple countries have identified it as dangerous, tested it, confirmed toxicity, and flagged it as unfit for human use. Detention should mean inaccessibility, but Sandal circulates freely through Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, and countless smaller e-commerce platforms. Sellers create new accounts, relist flagged products under slightly different names, and continue operations until the next enforcement cycle catches up. The regulatory framework was built for brick-and-mortar retail in the 20th century. It cannot address 21st century global e-commerce, where products ship directly from overseas manufacturers to individual consumers, bypassing customs inspection, evading safety testing, operating in jurisdictions where enforcement is impossible. When social media becomes an unregulated toxic pipeline and detention lists cannot prevent sales, consumer protection becomes an illusion. And when the beauty industry's most dangerous products hide behind prestige branding, even trusted categories fail. Leave a comment right now. Have you ever unknowingly used a product that was later recalled or found to be dangerous? Thousands of you are watching this, and your stories help other women avoid the same mistakes. Let's build a community that protects each other from these predatory practices. When even trusted categories fail, eyeshadow that burns your eyelids, natural mineral makeup contaminated with forever chemicals. When even the most trusted product categories betray safety, the industry's regulatory failure becomes undeniable. Huda Beauty Neon Obsessions palette was marketed and sold explicitly as eyeshadow, but the formulation contained ingredients unsafe for the eye area. The specific compounds were not pre-screened because the FDA doesn't require pre-market safety testing for cosmetics. Companies self-regulate their own safety determinations. The result was predictable: rashes across eyelids, irritation severe enough to require medical attention, pain that persisted after removing the product. Last year, Huda Beauty agreed to a $2.8 million settlement after thousands experienced harm from a product that promised beauty but delivered injury. Meanwhile, Bare Minerals built its identity on natural ingredients, the antidote to synthetic chemicals your skin could recognize and process safely. The brand commanded premium pricing based on this purity narrative. The class action lawsuit shattered that mythology. Testing revealed per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, abbreviated PFAS, throughout the makeup line. These forever chemicals do not break down in your body. They accumulate in your tissues, organs, bloodstream. The health implications are severe: links to cancer, weakened immune systems, disrupted endocrine function. When eyeshadow contains eye-unsafe ingredients and natural makeup hides industrial contamination, categorical trust collapses. 15 products. 15 failures ranging from $3,000 illusions to neurotoxic contamination, 24,000 times the legal limit. Lawsuits totaling hundreds of millions of dollars. Benzene in dermatologist-recommended products. Mercury in creams still sold on social media. And I know exactly what you're thinking. Is anything safe? Yes. What comes next are the 5 products dermatologists keep in their own bathrooms and recommend to their own mothers. Evidence-based alternatives with transparent ingredient concentrations, peer-reviewed research, and no lawsuits, no recalls, no celebrity endorsements masking toxic formulations. The beauty industry doesn't want you to know these exist because they prove effective. Anti-aging has never required hundreds of dollars. It's required honesty. And what follows is that honesty, backed by 50 years of clinical proof. The SkinCeuticals Alternative. SkinCeuticals CE Ferulic costs $185. Timeless 20% C plus E ferulic acid serum costs $26.95. The difference? The Timeless formula is actually more potent. This is the premier alternative that dermatologists quietly recommend when patients balk at SkinCeuticals' price point. Timeless uses what's called the gold standard trio: 20% L-ascorbic acid, 1% vitamin E, and 0.5% ferulic acid. This precise combination creates synergy that maximizes antioxidant protection beyond what any single ingredient could achieve alone. For skin over 60, this synergy is crucial. Free radicals accelerate visible aging, breaking down collagen and elastin faster than your body can rebuild them. Antioxidants neutralize those free radicals before damage occurs. Meanwhile, L-ascorbic acid at this concentration actively stimulates collagen production, addressing structural decline at the cellular level. The formula itself offers advantages SkinCeuticals cannot match. Where SkinCeuticals feels tacky and sits heavy on mature skin, the timeless serum absorbs quickly and layers seamlessly under moisturizer. You're getting 1/8 the cost for a more potent concentration in a superior texture. When a $26 serum outperforms a $200 prestige product, the beauty industry's pricing mythology collapses entirely. And when MIT scientists enter the conversation, evidence replaces aspiration. The scientists who walked away from prestige. 3 MIT-trained researchers had prestigious careers ahead of them in pharmaceutical development. Instead, they walked away to answer one question: why does effective vitamin C serum cost $200 when the raw ingredients cost $8? The result is Maylove the Glow Maker, and it costs $32.95. The founders were frustrated watching patients abandon clinically proven treatments because insurance wouldn't cover cosmetic skincare, and retail prices were prohibitive. They knew the markup was artificial. They knew the science didn't justify the cost. So they built a company with one radical premise: transparent concentrations and evidence-based ingredients with no celebrity endorsements, no luxury packaging markup, no proprietary blends hiding what's actually inside. The Glow Maker contains 15% L-ascorbic acid. The biologically active form that clinical research has proven improves photoaging and hyperpigmentation. This concentration sits in the scientifically validated range where transformation occurs without unnecessary irritation. Surrounding that vitamin C are hyaluronic acid for hydration and botanical extracts, including magnolia and orange, that provide additional antioxidant support. What makes this particularly intelligent for women over 60 is the gentler formulation. Mature skin experiences increase sensitivity as barrier function declines with age. The Glow Maker delivers clinical-strength actives in a base designed to soothe rather than inflame, allowing consistent use without the chronic irritation that forces women to abandon treatment. When scientists prioritize evidence over profit margins and transparency over marketing mythology, $32 delivers what $200 promises. And when independent testing exposes identical formulations at wildly different price points, the scandal becomes impossible to ignore. The ingredient list that exposed the industry. When independent cosmetic chemists published their analysis comparing Drunk Elephant's Proteiny Polypeptide Cream to Accure's radically rejuvenating Whipped Night Cream, the beauty industry tried to bury the report. The reason? The $15 drugstore cream contained almost identical peptide technology to the $68 prestige product. The analysis wasn't subtle marketing comparison, it was forensic ingredient examination using the same laboratory techniques pharmaceutical companies use to verify generic medications match brand name formulations. Both products use hexapeptides and oligopeptides at similar concentrations. Both employ the same delivery mechanisms. Both target collagen production through identical biological pathways. These peptides function as cellular signals, instructing your skin to behave as younger skin behaves. They encourage collagen production, the structural protein that provides firmness and resilience. As we age, collagen synthesis declines dramatically. Peptides partially reverse that decline by reactivating the mechanisms responsible for building skin's support network. The only meaningful difference: Drunk Elephant uses expensive marula oil, while Acure uses cost-effective botanical oil blends. But when cosmetic chemists analyzed the fatty acid profiles, they were functionally equivalent. The skin cannot distinguish between them. When forensic analysis proves $15 delivers what 68 promises, the prestige model reveals itself as pure markup theater. And when pharmaceutical-grade technology becomes accessible at drugstore prices, the revolution truly begins. The democratization of pharmaceutical skincare. For decades, Matrixyl was locked behind luxury price points, accessible only to women who could afford $100 serums. Then, The Ordinary made a decision that changed the industry: sell pharmaceutical-grade peptide complexes at cost plus minimal markup. The result, Matrixyl 10% plus HA for $10.90. This wasn't just affordability. This was a philosophical challenge to the entire prestige beauty model. The Ordinary's founder believed skincare actives should be priced like pharmaceutical generics: transparent concentrations, minimal packaging, maximum accessibility. The beauty industry fought back, calling the brand's clinical aesthetic off-putting, and warning that consumers needed education to use such potent formulations safely. But women over 60 don't need education, they need honesty. And what The Ordinary provided was unprecedented: a water-based serum containing 2 generations of Matrixyl, a trademarked peptide complex with unambiguous clinical evidence, proving it reduces both static wrinkles and dynamic wrinkles. Matrixyl works by strengthening your skin's support network. It signals fibroblasts to produce more collagen and elastin, essentially instructing aging skin to behave structurally younger. This isn't temporary plumping from hydration. This is cellular-level intervention that builds cumulative improvement over months of consistent use. Expert dermatologists recommend combining this with argiraline, known chemically as acetyl hexapeptide 8, which creates what's often called the Botox in a bottle effect, by relaxing facial muscles and smoothing expression lines without injections. When pharmaceutical-grade actives cost less than lunch and work better than products 20 times more expensive, the luxury markup becomes indefensible. And when plant science matches synthetic performance, the final barrier falls. The plant that outperformed retinol. When a clinical study in the British Journal of Dermatology proved that a plant extract was as effective as retinol without the irritation, it revolutionized anti-aging for women who couldn't tolerate traditional retinoids. Bakuchiol is derived from the babchi plant, and it represents the rare intersection of natural ingredients and rigorous scientific validation. For women who find 1% retinol too irritating, experiencing persistent redness, painful flaking, or barrier damage that takes weeks to heal, Bakuchiol offers genuine alternative backed by peer-reviewed research, not marketing mythology. The mechanism is sophisticated. Bakuchiol triggers similar gene expression pathways that retinol activates, stimulating collagen production and accelerating cell turnover. But it accomplishes this without the inflammatory retinization period that makes traditional retinoids unbearable for mature, sensitive skin. You avoid the weeks of peeling, the photosensitivity, the compromise between results and comfort. The landmark study published in the British Journal of Dermatology compared 0.5% Bakuchiol directly against retinol in treating wrinkles and hyperpigmentation. The findings were revolutionary. Bakuchiol proved equally effective while demonstrating significantly better tolerance. Participants experienced transformation without trauma. When plant-derived compounds match pharmaceutical performance with superior gentleness, the industry's synthetic versus natural debate becomes obsolete. And when evidence replaces ideology, your skincare routine transforms from expensive hope into affordable certainty. 15 products that betrayed your trust. 5 alternatives that restored it. And the difference between them isn't price, isn't prestige, isn't celebrity endorsement, it's transparency. The era of the $300 jar of petroleum is over. The future of anti-aging skincare belongs to women who demand ingredient concentrations published openly, who verify certifications like ISO 22716 and GMP instead of trusting luxury packaging, who use databases like EWG Skin Deep to screen 74,000 products for carcinogens and endocrine disruptors. Before purchasing, stop using unknown brands that lack track records and safety testing. Embrace clinical minimalism. A gentle cleanser, a high-potency antioxidant serum, and a non-toxic mineral sunscreen deliver superior results compared to 16-step routines filled with mercury contamination and forever chemicals. Gorgeous skin isn't about complexity, it's about raw material integrity. By shifting your investment from aesthetic packaging to evidence-based formulation, you achieve anti-aging results that are both scientifically sound and ethically sustainable. The beauty industry built a $3 trillion empire on the assumption that you'd never demand proof. They were wrong. If this video saved you from wasting hundreds of dollars on products that don't work, or helped you discover the affordable alternatives that dermatologists actually use, share it with every woman in your life who deserves to know the truth. Your mother, your sister, your friends. They need to know that. Effective anti-aging doesn't require luxury pricing and doesn't come with neurotoxic contamination. Share this video, protect the women you love, and I'll see you in the next investigation.